Oh, hi, and welcome into Nick's Practice Club, where I ramble on about musical ideas I find interesting and hopefully inspire you to pick up your instrument and practice. If that's the kind of thing you're into, please like and subscribe. If that is not the kind of thing you're into, please like and subscribe. So let's get into all the strums, shall we? So strumming comes up a lot in my teaching, especially with beginners, of course, and a lot of advanced players take it for granted because, frankly, we don't remember the struggle. But I remember when I was younger, I started playing guitar around 12, and I was pretty good. I understood notes and how to do them pretty well, but I never quite understood what the up strums were all about. I'd see people playing full guitar patterns with up strums and stuff, and it didn't quite sink in until I was about 16 years old, sitting in my dad's apartment in Berwyn, Illinois, and watching Neil Young play Harvest Moon on TV, and it clicked. I found the song pretty and learned how to play it, I think from Guitar Player magazine or something. I learned where the notes were. And when I saw what his hands were doing, what his right hand was doing while I was playing it, it all clicked for me. So it goes something like this. And seeing the up strums happen on the second half of that pattern, it all clicked for me. So I'm going to lead you through strum patterns going from the least complex to the most complex, and hopefully touch on the most important ones for at least beginners to get started on. And even if you have some experience, maybe you'll find a different way of looking at these things. So let's begin with quarter notes. Quarter notes can be considered the backbone of music. When you're hearing music, nowadays, just about everything you hear on the radio is going to be in 4/4 time. So if you're listening to it and you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 along with it, you are counting the quarter notes. And as far as it relates to the guitar, typically we're going to downstrum quarter notes. It's a simple pattern, but it actually does make its way into a lot of modern dance pop and stuff, such as I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, and so on. So that is based on a quarter note vibe. In the actual recording with mainly electronic instruments, you're going to hear a heavy bass beat on 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a simple way that you can apply strumming to, dance pop and other styles. Pretty much any song can be broken down. If you're not any good at strumming, if you know what the chords are and when they're supposed to be played in the pattern, if you can play quarter notes along with it, that's at least a start. Because even when you get into more fancy patterns, you're still going to be downstrumming, generally speaking, on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. The up strums come in between those beats, generally speaking. And one of my favorite songs that uses a heavy quarter note beat is I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick. And you'll notice that as they play through it, it is a quarter note based song. You can tell by the kick and snare pattern, but then a kick, snare, then kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. It's a fast 4-beat song. And when I'm playing it just using quarter notes, I'm going to be using all down strums here. I play it and I actually accent the second strum of each pattern. So I accent beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you say, Nick, you haven't even got an accent. But what we're talking about when we talk about accents in music is something played slightly louder than the rest of the texture. When you get deeper into it, it's almost like the accented notes are the normal notes and we take away the rest of them. But suffice it to say, for when you're getting started, think of accents as slightly louder notes. So in the example of I want you to want me, we get this heavy 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I want you to want me. I need you to need me. I love you to love me. I'm begging you to beg me. Shine up the old brown shoes, put on a brand new shirt, get home early from work. If you say that you love me, didn't I see you crying? Oh, didn't I see you crying? Feeling all alone without a friend, you know, feel like dying. Oh, didn't I see you crying? And so on. So that is pretty much strummed all the way when I'm, playing this rhythm guitar part that I kind of made up for it. I am strumming down all the way, but by accenting beats 2 and 4, it gives it some shape. So if I didn't do that, it would sound very flat and kind of hard to sing with. It doesn't have any shape. I'm emulating the drums when I'm doing my 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on. That happens in most strumming styles. So it's not just about learning the exact strum pattern, but it's also about learning what beats to accent in it. It gets automatic eventually, but nobody starts with that on automatic. These are things that you will get better at as you continue learning. The next level up in complexity is eighth notes. That's when we take our quarter notes and we split them in half. So we started with 4 quarter notes, and now we have 8 eighth notes per measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. In a lot of cases, the ands are accented, just like I accented 2 and 4 in the pattern before, but I'll play through a couple examples here and analyze them as we go because I haven't prepared much about this. So let's, okay, so my first example is another Neil Young song, Heart of Gold. And so on. So what was I accenting there? I was actually accenting 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that case. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and without any accents to it. Oh, and like, how am I accenting it? Am I actually literally playing louder and quieter? Not really. I'm kind of more hitting all the strings or fewer strings. So I'm the first strum is all the strings. The second strum in the eighth note pattern is just like kind of the 2 or 3 lower strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Again, if I play that without any accents at all, it's going to sound very flat and kind of hard to sing along with. I I kind of morphed into the accented version there, and hopefully you could feel that it moves the song along a little better, makes it a little more predictable, and makes it feel like it's easier to sing along with. Again, because we're kind of emulating what drums would be doing with that. So not only do we have a melodic instrument here, it's also a percussive instrument. We're hitting the strings, so we can use those aspects of it to our advantage, especially when we're playing solo guitar. A deeper look into eighth notes. We haven't talked really about any upstrumming yet. When I play Heart of Gold, I'm sure maybe I threw some in there. I'm trying to be as concrete as possible right now, but it's hard for me not to throw in details and ornaments that I'm used to doing. So every once in a while, I'm throwing in little upstrums there. They're naturally occurring upstrums in the pattern. That's where what this all really boils down to. Those little ornaments that I'm throwing in there, my hand's already moving up. If I downstrummed, my hand's already moving up. So if I throw in upstrums in between notes from time to time, that's how we ornament things, fill things in. And I'm not necessarily thinking when I'm playing this, oh, in the end of this measure, I'm going to throw an upstrum on the and of 4. All I'm thinking is, I want it a little sparser or I want it a little fuller sounding at this point. And it might seem overwhelming if you're a beginner with this, but trust me, if you do this long enough, it does become automatic. So as I was saying, getting deeper into things that use more upstrums, Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones is a great way to look at this. Now, heavy metal and punk purists will say, play it with all downstrums because it has the most, downstrums are inherently a little bit louder and more forceful than upstrums. I disagree. Speed ain't my thing. And I would rather get through the song competently than struggle and have my hand fall off and be dropping picks and stuff at the end of a song. So I don't know. I think I've seen Johnny Ramone play this with down and up strums. So I can't tell you. I'm not a purist as far as this goes. I'm a pragmatist as far as strum patterns and things goes. Play what you can actually play. That's a better idea than showing off how fast you are in my world. So the pattern goes something like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and 4. And so on. I encourage you to try to speak your rhythms along while you're playing it. That's not easy to do, but all good musicians can speak what they can play. Even if their voice stinks. You hear me going through these things way out of my range. I use capos and stuff and change keys of songs to fit my vocal range when I'm actually performing. But for the sake of, sitting down here and talking about this, I'm going to be singing some things out of my range, and it doesn't really matter. If you can communicate to yourself what you mean, that's more important. Let a good singer communicate the vocals to an audience, but for you to be able to speak parts and your voice is an instrument. So if you can speak a part, you are controlling an instrument that is speaking those parts. If you can control that instrument, you can ultimately control your fingers to play another instrument. There are many other songs that use eighth notes. It's a huge thing in punk, pop punk, heavy metal, and things like that, there are tons of eighth note based lines in that you can, if you can go. I mean, I can do it for, 15 seconds, but that's a lot of work after a while. So if you can downstrum everything, more power to you. Some people are more talented with speed than others. But for me, I approach things like that with down and up strums just so I can be consistent. And that does impart a little bit of accenting with it as well. When you're doing down and up strums, the downs are a little bit louder than the ups. So that gives, again, shape, helps me hear it clearer, helps me convey what I'm trying to convey to the audience clearer. So, start with the physical stuff. The accents can come later, but when you're playing and, recording yourself, which is a great idea to do when you're trying to get better, and you hear yourself playing things physically correctly, but it just doesn't sound pro. It just doesn't sound quite right. It probably has to do with your touch, accents, and things like that. So now it's time to involve a little more touch into our playing than simply banging out quarter notes or eighth notes. The big strum that everybody has to know if you're going to be a rock or pop guitar player is the calypso strum. There are many other names for it. The multi-purpose strum, all-purpose strum, rock strum. You'll see many different videos on it, different sources, and many different variations on it as well. It is an eighth note-based pattern, all right? But we are using down and up strums, and we're missing some of the down and the up strums as well. So I'm going to start in just on a C chord here. The basic pattern, you'll see different variations of this where people say down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. I go even simpler with that when I'm teaching the very basics of it. I just go down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And I see this all the time. People have no problem hearing that rhythm. You've heard that rhythm played a lot. But the problem is physically putting the up strums where they belong and doing them in rhythm without stopping your hand from moving. So people will do things like, well, I'm spitting the right notes out at the right time. It doesn't sound horrible, but it doesn't groove as well as. And why not? Well, I think, first of all, when you have your hand moving like a pendulum, that's going to keep your time a little more honest. And I mentioned before that down strums, you hit the low strings first. They're a little bit more forceful than the up strums. So the up strums are subtly quieter than the down strums. So I think that has a lot to do with why it works so well there. So why do I call it the calypso strum? Well, because I like old-timey stuff and I'm kind of a music history nerd. Harry Belafonte was the guy who popularized calypso music in the U.S. in the 50s or so. And this rhythm is the backbeat to many of his most famous songs. Sad to say, I'm on my way. I won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. And why was that adopted into other music and rock music and stuff? I don't know. It just was. Flows very nicely. It works well with 4/4, with music in 4/4. It's got those aspects that we talked about where it's almost acting as a drum kit as well as a guitar when we're playing it. So we're doing more, we're imparting more information to the audience than just straight down strumming. Other very famous examples of that would be Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. Green Day. If I can play it without screwing it up, we'll see. But he, at the beginning of that song, he has a pretty complex strum picking pattern that he does. But if you're doing it right, you're kind of doing it as though you were strumming it. So it's something like... My hands are still going down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, just real fast. It gets easier the more you do this. And so my recommendation for getting started with this is, if you can't just play one chord and play that rhythm and zone out, you don't know it well enough. This is one of those things you can just sit on a couch. If you got an electric guitar, you don't even have to plug in, but just down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. That's hard enough for a lot of people at the very beginning. It takes a while to, stop having to think about it so much and let your hands take over, move it from your brain to your brain stem. So once you do that, you can start changing chords with it, which is another problem. Like, how am I supposed to change chords while I'm doing that? Well, if you don't do that up strum at the end, it makes it a lot easier. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. There's a little space in there for you to change chords. If you do the last up strum, so that would be down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, you can actually play that nothing. I call them sloppy open strings, but it's kind of part of rock music. So if I'm going to do down, down, up, down, up, and when I'm switching chords, the strum in between is going to be open strings in between the chords. It certainly doesn't sound bad when you play at full speed, and it doesn't sound bad at that speed to me. Those sloppy open strings are part of music, and don't be afraid of using them in between chords. That's another pro thing that I didn't get when I was younger. I thought every strum has to be accounted for. No, you don't. It doesn't. There is sloppiness built into the system. So use it. So we've covered the massively important calypso strum. You might ask me, Nick, are there more complex patterns than that? Indeed, there are. What I'm going to delve into now are rhythms involving 16th notes. We talked about quarter notes at the very beginning. Eighth notes are splitting those in half, and 16th notes are splitting those eighth notes in half. So the counting for that is 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. And, when I'm teaching kids this stuff, they think that's silly, those syllables. Pros use those syllables all the time. When we're communicating things to each other, it's a very useful skill to have, to be able to break down rhythms vocally. So what I'm going to do now is we'll talk about two big classic rock songs that use 16th note patterns. The interesting thing is, again, having prepared this extensively, it's come to my attention that I think they're actually physically the same, but there's a slight difference between them. One is shuffled and one is straight. Okay? So what the heck does shuffle mean? I'm not going to go into the math of it. There is a mathematical explanation and way to break things down. What I'm going to say is, when you have a shuffle, eighth notes can be shuffled and 16th notes can be shuffled. It's basically an interchangeable term with swing. So if you hear swing, shuffle usually means kind of a hard swing. So if you hear somebody saying those eighth notes are swung or those eighth notes are shuffled, they're essentially saying the same thing. Same thing with 16th notes. Swing eighth notes would sound something like 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and versus straight eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So it's tough when you're counting all this not to run out of breath. I haven't figured that out in 30 years, but someday maybe. I can do both. So I'm going to break out the agony box. Uh-oh. A metronome? Ooh. Scary stuff, huh? Let's go a little faster than that. So I'm setting this up at 80 beats per minute. And I'm going to go between shuffle or swing and straight time using that kind of blues pattern there. Now I've settled into it. That's shuffle. Back to straight. I'll go back to shuffle. So what's happening there is basically straight means they are played equally. Each eighth note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and shuffle means the second eighth note is shorter than the first one in each pair. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and first one's longer, second one's shorter. As a rock or pop musician, you have to be aware of the difference, and the best way to be aware of it is to listen and copy what you hear. You can get super academic about it, but I don't tend to do that with my students. I don't have them, when we're working on shuffle and straight rhythms and things like that, I don't have a diagram in front of them on how to do it. We just play it until it sounds right, and I'll make them aware that the first one is shorter and the up strums are going to be a little quicker feeling. But it's one of those things where just do it and listen and try, and eventually it'll work out. So the examples I have for this rhythm are, I'll start with Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. I'm going down to 60 beats per minute to make this easier to decipher. And this is an example of a straight 16th note pattern. The pattern that I'm using there is down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. There's a lot of missed strums in there, aren't there? More strums are missed than are hit. I think. I don't know. I'm going to write it out. I'll put diagrams up, and I'll know that once I do that. I'll count 8/16ths along with this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E, a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2. Yes, I hit wrong chords. That happens. When I go to You Can't Always Get What You Want, the rhythm is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So I think, I'll confirm it when I write down the diagrams and stuff, but I think those are written exactly the same. We just make a note on the shuffled one that the 16th notes are shuffled. I think the notes down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, versus Wish You Were Here, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Yeah, I think they're the same. One is shuffled and one isn't. And of course, there are variations to those. Within the song, within one verse, there's going to be variations of them. These are the backbones of those rhythms that I'm talking about here. The variations will come the more comfortable you get with it. So I hope that was informative and you got a kick out of watching somebody who's played guitar a long time screw up chords of songs that he's played a million times. It's tough to count these things out while you're playing them, and it's tough to play and think at the same time, so I don't recommend it. Practice these things until they're in your hands, and the world of music is your oyster. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. If you do not like this content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of Nick's Practice Club. Have a great day, will you?